Welcome to this Cookies and Chat with Janel Tolentino. Here, we're going to talk about her EP that was released 5 years ago called New State of Mind and Liberties. NSM plus L for short. Let's play it.
This is the B-side. I think it starts off already introducing things not working out, because the very first line of the whole album is Delilah was my shattered dream.
Mm-hmm. And you begin the album with
Yeah,
that
already. And then Delilah was a sudden jet stream. When I think of jet streams, you kind of look up to them, but they're fleeting, they're sudden. Delilah made me want to make a start. Already introducing to the listeners that this is like a first love.
Tell me about the Forrest Gump reference at the start.
Oh.
Or is that too personal?
Oh, maybe every time it's too personal, I can say that's hyper specific information. If you know, you know. But yeah, that does have a personal, what do you call that?
Connection.
Yeah, connection to it. Yeah. And thank you for asking about that, because in this B-side, every introduction starts with
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is part of the soul, let's say, of the EP. Yeah.
Okay.
In many forms, Lila grew through many storms. I danced and while I went and broke my heart.
Delilah came in many forms. I mean, many layers, right? Because people come in like many different dimensions. People aren't black and white. There's a lot more to Delilah, but also there's another aspect of it. Like they took on many characters.
Yeah.
Delilah brewed the many storms I danced in while I went and broke my heart. And that's kind of interesting because at the start it feels like you're blaming Delilah by saying she brewed the storms, but then you were the one who danced in it.
Hard.
Yeah.
Not Delilah break.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of like a progression, right? And that's taking accountability. That's on growth. Yes, circumstances, people do things that hurt you, but at the same time, you also have a part to play in, I let myself dance in that. Dancing is a fun activity, and yet it's followed by while I went and broke my heart.
Yeah, like they're contradicting concepts.
Yeah, and the storm thing, like that is what it felt like, where it's both exciting but also scary and dangerous.
She was hard enough to go and take away. She was hard enough to share with me training.
Not the lyrics itself that I'm listening to, but the ding, that part there.
The xylophone?
Yeah. What instrument?
I think it was the xylophone,
Yeah.
yeah. But when I was, because most of it is through the MIDI in the software, right? And then when I was listening to what it was before that, I thought, it feels like it needs some type of wet sounding instrument. And it just bounces, yeah.
And it feels like that that instrument adds more of like a dream feel to it.
That's the one,
Yeah.
yep. I think that the xylophone is both kind of that wet sound and also that dream sound and the childhood.
Yeah.
When I think of xylophones, there's some sense of childhood. And this is, like at the start, I said, Delilah made me want to make a start referring to it being her first love. And this is about that, like that young love. Oh, and I wanted to comment on the last few lines, right?
Yes.
I went, while I went and broke my heart, but in the shadows that I breathed in, she was kind enough to go and take the blame.
Yeah.
And in the sorrows that oh my gosh, I don't even remember my own lyrics. She was real enough to share with me the pain. And that's the now like shared accountability that it took two people to tango. And that's on healing.
That's
Delilah was the only one I ever really knew who knew me.
that rap.
Yeah, I didn't mean it to be a rap.
star.
And that line
Playing.
is already kind of foreshadowing strangers. Because Delilah was the only one I ever really knew who knew me. And yet the next song is calling them strangers. And though we like maturity, once again, it's like your first love, childhood, yeah. We cultivated company that could be the great escape. And the great escape is, if you know, as we drape our arms around each other. And I like that. I like that imagery of like, kind of leaning on each other. I looked over at her and knew my world will never ever be the same. And everyone knows that is a line in Delilah. Hey there, Delilah. Time that we get through, my world will never ever be the same. And that was one of the first lines I thought about. I wanted to incorporate my world will never ever be the same.
Lila didn't know me. Lila did not think the day. Lila was the apple of my eye. Lila had to know the truth. I told her in her youth. Oh, she grumpy was right.
You want to unpack that one?
Well, how did it start again? Delilah didn't know my name. Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, like, how is that? Delilah didn't even know your name, and yet Delilah was the only one I ever really knew who knew me, right? Delilah didn't know my name. Delilah and I played the game. Delilah was the apple of my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to throw in the New York feel in there.
Yeah, the apple, the big apple.
Yeah, the big apple.
She made time for us to talk on the Monday.
While her tomorrow was my present, and as you clearly pointed out, it's alluding to like long distance, time zone wise, the narrator being ahead of them, while her tomorrow was my present, but also metaphorically maybe in terms of where they were heading in their lives, there were starting to be some misalignments, and yet she made time for us to talk and make my day, even though things or situations in their lives weren't exactly aligned. Delilah still made an effort to be on the same page. So it's both almost literal but also metaphorical.
Yeah. Oh. How can you skip the solo?
Lila is my childhood dream, and goodness, her infectious beam sends me back to fantasy and dreams of her currently. Relic her eyes and see the world we never got to see.
And that's just confirming that it's like a reflective song, but then now with a bit more, let's say, acceptance, because at the start it's like Delilah was my shattered dream. It's kind of sad, but then now Delilah is my shattered dream, and goodness, her infectious beam sends me back to fantasy and dreams of her and me. Just like this is not reality, but you can let yourself have that time to be in that moment or simmer in that. You can still look back on it with love and a reflection of acceptance, and this was a beautiful thing to have had.
It's nice thinking about it or like discussing it now, 5 years after that, the release of the album or the EP, and also just seeing how much you have matured. Because you must have written this like after the fact of Delilah, and then another after 5 years, like just seeing all your growth and the maturity in your responses and how you view the song.
We're ready to put them in the freezer before we put them in the oven. Strangers.
I wish I could have been there with you.
Yeah.
Should I?
Yeah. Oh, and I do love the B-side. I'm glad we went with the B-side because that was once again a line from Forrest Gump. I wish you could have been there with me. Jenny says that, and then he goes, "You were." And then now we're getting into the unpacking of the relationship between Delilah and, let's say, the narrator, right? Because the first song is all about who Delilah was, with a bit of hint of like, oh, there's a relationship or connection between two people there. But then Strangers is more exploring, unpacking, or revealing that relationship. Which is such an interesting concept of strangers. They're strangers in the fact that they've never met in person. And I love that, like, Delilah is so specific, as in that's a person's name. And then the next song is Strangers.
Oh.
I really love the concept of, they're strangers, but they know a lot more about each other than two people
who could be in the same room.
But I don't, the girl thing. And the whole, I wish I could have been there with you. You were now alluding to it was long distance, and even though Delilah wasn't physically there, they were always there. Let's wait.
Tell me how she could have helped her too soon, too high to climb. Tell me how to love a stranger.
Oh.
So dumb.
Just giving young love.
Thank you.
You want to unpack that?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to what you said about it's giving young love.
Mm.
And then that was the line of too soon, too high to climb. Maybe
Yeah, what
in
does
terms
that
of timing, even though you have this profound connection with someone, but at that point in time, how you gonna make this work? You know, you're like young people. It's too soon.
Mm.
Yeah.
And total opposite sides of the world
Yeah.
as well. Like,
And then the too high to
Girl,
climb.
make me
is-
dreaming.
Yeah, exactly. And the too high to climb, it's a barrier or it's something that will be difficult to overcome for two young people.
Diving into food, but they were never in doubt. So sure, so dumb.
Like you just, and regardless, because you're naive, you're young, that they didn't have a clue how to make this work, and yet they didn't have a clue, and yet they figured it out because they just kept going, diving into blue, because there's so many things going on as individuals while also trying to make something work between two of them.
Yeah.
So sure, like yeah, we got this. So dumb.
Yeah.
Because if you were removed from the situation, you'd be like, bro, how are you going? Like, how's this gonna work?
I mean, like you now, 5 years after this EP, you're looking at it and like, bro,
yeah. But it makes for a good song. So
Late like I didn't have school.
It's so cute. Yeah, it's so young and it captures the lose it all one song.
yeah, every time I sing staying up late like they didn't have school, it's so true because time zones, and it's like, oh, it's about to be like 12 a.m. here, but you just woke up, so I'm gonna keep talking to you, but we've got school tomorrow. Playing with fate like it couldn't be cruel is the thing that gets me. So something so kind of childish or cute of like staying up late like they didn't have school, that's so cute. And then playing with fate and play with that childhood like vibe, but like playing with fate though, you can't play with fate because things will happen as they're supposed to happen. So even though they didn't want to admit it that this is not going to pan out, they still kept going with it.
Yeah, it's definitely playing into that naive, that young
love. Lose it all, win some.
Everyone was able to. You losing all that matters, and they get everybody them, and take everybody over that bill. Feels like nothing matters.
So as they make a million promises and break every one of them again, like how naive to think we can get through anything. I got you. I'm never leaving you behind. And ache at every part of them and take at every party that pill. Yeah, and then now it's kind of like, oh, they're growing up. They're going out and getting turned.
I'll just stop at that
Okay.
that line.
Yeah.
I quite like it. And I'd like to get your thoughts on it. My favorite place is where you came. To think that it is a long, like we already established, it's a long distance. Like, how do you know it's your favorite place when you've never been there, you've never been with them?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing up that, because it's kind of saying, it's that cheesy line of it's not the place, it's the person, right? And so my favorite place is all the places you've ever been, because at least those places have seen you in person, and I haven't. So you become jealous of places that you've never been before because you know that they've encountered this person that you wish to, but you haven't yet. Yeah. And it's supposed to be, grammatically speaking, sometimes I love that because it's supposed to be my favorite places where you've come from or the things you've been to. But those are rhymes.
It's
guys.
songwriting.
Yeah, songwriting.
She loved her before she even knew her name. The same stars.
You want to stop there?
Sure, but do we need to explain it? She knew she loved her before she even knew her name. And that's just, typically, the first thing you know about a person is their name.
Yeah,
and
it's like, hi,
Joelle. And yet you know so much about a person without even knowing their name without even having met them in person.
Yeah, I guess you knew them at a not at a certain on surface level,
Mm.
but on a deeper
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
The skies.
Oh, that's the one now. Same
Tell me
moon,
how
different
we found each
skies.
other. Too young to even know. Mentally even went over.
You want to keep going, you want to keep staying, but also, is this even?
Be for real.
Yeah, be for real. Is this worth it? Is it wise? Too young to even know when to leave and when to hover, and when to leave or when to stay.
Mm.
They didn't have a clue that they were falling in love. It wasn't true when push came to shove. So lost, so dumb.
Yeah, and
Another
that's when
so
reality
dumb.
hits. Yeah, reality hits, and the dream, you wake up from your dream, or you're woken up from your dream of, they didn't have a clue that they were falling in love. They just kept, connecting, but more than they can chew.
Mm.
Kind of thinking like, no, what? I like this person, I love this person, I'm gonna keep pursuing them, but more than they can chew. And then, but then when push came to shove, actually I can't.
Yeah.
It's too hard. Yeah. So lost, because how do you don't have the skills at that young age to navigate the feelings you're feeling, and also the situation that you both find yourselves in. Yeah, so lost, so dumb.
Yeah. And I just want to make a comparison between the verse 1 lyrics and verse 2. So verse 1 you were saying, so sure, so dumb. And then now like we're progressing. Oh, so lost.
So
dumb.
so lost.
Yeah.
At the same time the other did. Too much odds were stacked against it. Still they held hope, made tight.
A few things at the same time the other did, and then now that's alluding to, oh, actually there are other people involved in this.
Mm.
Where, okay, so they've got their thing going on, but also they're in different places where there are other people that they can connect with there. Be it Delilah or be it the narrator, they've got other relationships that are starting to take shape as well. And it's like, oh, you're trying to make this one work, but then you're being pulled into another one here, and the other person's being pulled here as well. And maybe they make more sense because at least those people are there.
Mm.
And now the next line is why sometimes I wish I could re-record this, because grammatically I was like, actually it should be too many odds were stacked against them.
Mhm.
So when I actually recorded the acoustic version, I wrote too many odds were stacked against them. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point because every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, I want to record you, because even though we do have that license, right, before with the grammar, the one kind of irks me. I want it to be too many odds. And I don't know why I made it too much, when too many doesn't really change the...
Maybe the odds were just too big to count.
Oh, okay. We'll take... Okay, clock it. Too many odds were stacked against them. Still they held hope, made time. Yeah, kind
Just
of again.
still trying.
Yeah,
Like,
still trying.
Just
Like,
be for
guys,
real.
Bless them. You make decisions based on what you kind of know and feel at the time. So
Yeah.
no regrets.
Like the love that ends up. Like I was making a million promises. Let's break every one of them until we lose the one that
Yeah, and I changed the lyrics.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
strange to
Instead of we lose and all that matters, we lose the one that matters. In this thing, you keep trying, you keep pouring from your cup, that you end up empty. So you lose the one that matters, which is yourself.
strangers felt the same. Like life makes good orders. Take a look at our two souls just overcame. How we found each other time and time and time again.
Suddenly a happy ending.
Yeah.
It's so funny because before, we were kind of talking about playing with fate like it couldn't be cruel. But then maybe I just wanted the ending to be a bit more of a positive perspective
Mm-mm.
of, because it took a while, even throughout the years, there were moments of you still gravitate towards them. Maybe fate sometimes had you, maybe fate sometimes thought, no, not right now.
If there's anything you need, I won't be far away.
You want to unpack that one?
Oh, well, maybe I'll just say that was, again, Forrest Gump. If there's anything in me, I won't be far away. I actually wrote a song with that line, yeah. Maybe I'll release it one day. So this song has many characters.
Mm.
She's still longing for the arms of a stranger who's still learning how it feels to be alive.
the narrator, still longing for the arms of a stranger, Delilah, who's still learning how to, find themselves and be there for themselves. So it's kind of that whole, it's hard to long for a person who needs time for themselves to figure out themselves before they can even try to figure out how this thing would work. Yeah. So that's the first character, the narrator. And then the next one.
He's still looking for a thrill, a game changer. Follows and pulls everything to feel alive. Yeah.
At the time, it was just a character that I made up in my head. And it's so funny because I then eventually met a person who was kind of like that, who was a thrill seeker. And I was kind of just wanting, as I said earlier, more characters, right? Because there's one, strangers in between two, open borders. I wanted like a more varied group of people to talk about, because given how this is the COVID song, and I wanted to kind of have, those Valentine's Day or Love Actually type of movies where there's so many different storylines, and this was it.
And
So
they somehow
link. Yeah, because you've got the narrator's story, and then, you know what, she's not the only person in the world. And so there's this guy amidst COVID who's a thrill seeker who seems to think that the only way to feel alive is to constantly live on the edge of like danger and adventure.
The reckless and hopeful will have to figure it out, while the restless and woeful continue living in doubt. Oh, regardless, they all stand still.
And that's now exploring different types of people, the reckless, the woeful, the hopeful, and regardless of where you're at that point in time, everyone had to be still through COVID. Yeah, and it just kind of reminds us that even if we are going through the same storm, people are going through it on different boats.
In the stillness of it all, fight for liberties. Can you take the push and fall as they disapprove? Divided they call for open borders. Open up possibilities.
Just exploring that once again, people coming from different points of view, different walks of life, all coming together because we all had that common situation that we were having to navigate of COVID. I like the line divided they call for open borders.
Yeah.
Because I think the line is typically united they call. But no, everyone had different opinions about COVID and how to approach it, right? But everyone, when suddenly we are having to be asked to kind of stay still, stay home, we kind of feel quite restricted that, open the borders. Yeah, everyone wants that feeling of freedom or that sense of freedom. And at the same time, open up possibilities is kind of a nudge to a lot of good things also happen as a result, right? They said, the ozone layer was trying to heal quickly. I don't know. Someone fact checked me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that we were asked to be still or to stay home, save life, it opened up possibilities to maybe reconnect with your family that you typically wouldn't have time for because you'll be at different offices, but now you're in one space. Or find ways to connect with others that weren't in the same room as you in another way.
Okay.
Yeah, like Animal Crossing.
Sorry, what? What is
They're still learning to accept real affection after navigating darkness to survive. Such a rough journey through healing where at the start you're kind of just learning how to survive and wake up each day wanting to be there, right? Being consumed in all that darkness. And then when someone comes in and says, I want to love you, it's kind of difficult to just accept that when for so long all you were kind of navigating was, how do I survive? So maybe that's more of like a reminder for people who want to love people who are struggling mentally. It's often not personal. Of course, you would want someone's attention and love and their time, but also be wary that they're also trying to give that to themselves. They're still learning how to navigate life past the darkness. So when they struggle to give you the same affection that you want to give them. People carry so much.
Oh, the breathless and faithful, they know they figured it out, while the senseless and spiteful continue messing about. Oh, regardless, they all stand still.
Oh, the breathless
Mm-hmm.
and faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was me alluding to the qualities of what it takes to live meaningful life. When I say breathless, it's kind of like those people that keep going, the resilient people, and faithful. So it's kind of all about those who sustain and are resilient regardless of what's happening around them. And they don't know that they figured out life because they're just kind of living in it. They're dancing and they're living in the moment
Mm-hmm.
and taking things as they are. They're resilient. And then on the flip side of that, those that are spiteful, they just continue messing about. They're complaining about everything when they could perhaps learn a bit more from those that are more faithful, hopeful. Just those people that are persistent, resilient.
She just lost one thing she didn't gain. He just gained skill to live and not to be.
Character
Okay.
development. He just gained the skill to live and not to bleed. So even amidst things happening around them, that help them develop into actually things are good, or there are ways to appreciate what you've got without kind of wishing that situations were different.
And that they all kind of realized that during the time that they were all standing
In
still.
isolation, yeah, because you're kind of forced to
Reflect.
reflect and confront your thoughts and emotions.
Where's the learning? In the stillness of it all, we all learn to move. In the stillness of it all, find our liberties. Learn to take the push and fall, how to disapprove. Although we crawled, we opened borders. We opened up possibilities.
That last line
Mm.
was so hopeful, and that kind of ends the E EP.
Sure, yeah, because you know I love to change up the last chorus, hey, and the key word there is we. Before I was kind of talking about each character
He,
in
she,
third person,
yeah.
and then actually,
We.
it becomes personal and it becomes a collective thing.
Mhm.
That hey, we're all people, and this is kind of me reflecting on humanity. In the stillness of it all, we all learn to move. Even if we have different journeys, different perspectives, when push comes to shove, or when something that's beyond all of us happens, hopefully we find a way forward together.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's why you don't hear divided we call. It became although we crawled. We got through this together as a society, and it was a struggle. I can only imagine how much worse it was for other people. If you keep that sense of empathy, understanding, and collectiveness, as cheesy as it sounds, you can get through things as a humanity, as people. Yeah. Oh, there was another line that I smiled at while listening to it. Oh, the we're still learning. This is a never-ending journey. After the bridge, because earlier I was talking about how there's character progression. The narrator is kind of more accepting of their situation. The guy who used to like thrills, actually, I can live a life in the stillness and not have to find like living on the edge is my only way to be alive. And yet, that's not where the journey ends. There will be other things that they might need to navigate. So it's a constant learning journey in life. Life is to live.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for the questions. I really appreciate your wonderings. We weren't really sure how we were gonna do this, and yet we're here. Oh, perfect timing. Our guests are here. I hope you enjoyed. What is it?
Cookies
And chat. Until
Bye.
next time. Happy 5 years, my baby.